Ladies and gentlemen, with a break as short as the last map, Splyce are looking to take this series in two.
The break might have lasted longer, to be honest.
Cash. Yeah, maybe. And now they're looking to do the same on Nuke. It is their map pick Dust. It is one that not only they're confident on, but Gale Force don't play. Predictions, if it's even worth asking.
Splyce should win this. Splyce should 2-0 the series now. I mean, they really shouldn't have won cash way if they did, but they did. So that's in the past now, and Splyce is, again, a lot more comfortable on this map than Gale Force are going to be. You'd imagine, as Live in the pistol drone already getting into the lower bomb site here and causing a bit of a ruckus. Gale Force trying to rotate the best they can. They're actually finding the frags right now with these USPs from range. Drone does push up close and find a couple himself, though. That opens things right back up for Splyce as now Davy's clearing house. That's so fast how this round turned on its head.
A 5-on-3 to a 3-on-3 in literally a second. It's going to be Gushoro sticking the bomb. Good luck with that. 10-second defuse. Not going to happen. Ro8 finds himself another frag, and it's going to be Splyce. What a pistol round. Not even one set of utility, and they go for a squeaky play on pistol. I mean, it's optimistic, but goddamn it works out. It's the first round for Splyce on the board, and Gale Force up on the force. I have such low expectations now for the second map. I'm gonna be brutally honest.
I mean, it looked good at first for Gale Force. They got the first couple of kills, but then Drone just immediately X'd that out, and then Davy funds a couple of kills. So I mean, again, that round just kind of rapidly, you know, was in Gale Force's favor, and then right into Splyce's, you know, to close it out. So Splyce up 1-0. Obviously, going to be buying up a little bit here. We do have Gale Force across the board with CZs and armor, so forcing up what they can. Already lost one player, though. And Ro8 has started to kind of engage over here at Secret. Meanwhile, we see a ramp room push coming in, and Splyce are able to pretty efficiently take control of that as well.
Yeah, they get on top of all the fights, apart from Ro8. He gets taken down by Marky, so dead in main gives a gun over to Marky, and with a lot of rifles in play from Splyce, that's a dangerous position to be playing, at least on your own. Shouldn't make a huge difference as Marky's getting wrapped, but again, a 1-for-1. This is awfully close now. Marky could make this happen. Bomb drops, looks some more, but it's Mitch again. And this is one thing, Dust, that we need to take into account. Splyce, well, they looked so dominant on the previous map. It was at anti-ecos where they actually let a lot of players go down.
Yeah, it's certainly true. A little bit of overconfidence at times certainly did cost them a couple of extra players, but we're always able to, you know, usually stay on top of things. And this round should be no different. They even bought a couple of Mac 10s on Davy and Simphis just to see if they can't farm some cash. They know that Gale Force is onto a full save. So this should be a round where you're just basically printing money on your way to a 3-0.
That seems to be the case, but again, I'm just going to hold out for Gale Force, maybe able to get some damage if Splyce play too confident. We've got a heavy A presence here from the CT side, and he's going to spot that first player. Ro8 seen in the squeaky door, but he can't connect the shots, and there we go. This is exactly what we talk about. Everyone dead, and Gale Force, with just a lone P250, they find themselves around. That's just dumb. That shouldn't happen.
No, definitely not. I'm not even sure how that happens. Basically, in the blink of an eye, somehow Splyce's hopes and dreams of getting a 3-0 to spiral down the toilet. Yeah, can't be letting that happen if you're Splyce. You've won the first map confidently. You're now on your home turf. You're up 2-0. You have Gale Force, you know, essentially full saving, and then you still lose the round somehow. Incredible.
Impressive stuff, but we'll see if it carries on, or if Splyce can pull it back with a mixed bag of Skittles, and not a great colour for Mitch. He's already dead. The first kill coming out from Gushoro. He's traded as well. Deagle comes through for Simphis, and he wraps the top side. Again, another shot with the Deagle. It seems like it may happen to Gale Force after picking up their own eco. And Splyce are now in the man advantage with rifles in the hands of these players, but it's looking to be changed by Tootin. He peeks out from hell, so a kill onto Ro8 and back into a 3-on-3.
Yeah, but Splyce had picked up some guns, and they have armor, but it's the Deagles that are doing the work. Tommy, though, hiding in the corner, trying to give himself a chance when he does get the bomb down, but now he's stuck. He's isolated. He's trapped. They know exactly where he is. They can look to peek him together, and Simphis will do it on his own with the AWP. So, despite the fact that Gale Force went off of a full save, they've been immediately reset. They do have a little bit of money on a couple of their players because they were able to just like get guns for free in the previous rounds, but not enough to really just buy right back. So it is going to be, actually no, they will just force up. They'll get 2 M4s on the guys that had high money, and they'll put CZs on everyone else in armor. This will set them back big time though if it doesn't work.
Well, indeed, but again, down a map, I think risks are a good decision to make in this position. You know, go for a risky buy, see if it works out. Again, worst comes to worst, it's a couple of ecos away from your rifles back in your pockets at least, but already it's Ro8 wrapping the top side of heaven once again. He's going to find himself the entry. Johnny Boy going down and a gun upgraded as well. Splyce will lose one player to Tommy at the very least, but they're still going to keep themselves on top of these gunfights as they have been doing in these buys. Drone again follows up and Marky will trade. So it's once again Gale Force putting up numbers, but it's not enough this time. It will be Splyce finding the round with 3 alive, so a little more clean than some of their previous anti-ecos.
And now Gale Force are going to be having to go for a full save because that force didn't work out, and they need to be, you know, making sure they get a nice buy in the next round. You might see a couple PT50s being bought or something, but in general, you're not going to really see any armor or utility behind this one. So Splyce should be looking to win another round comfortably, though they did lose to a round not so dissimilar from this one, so hopefully they don't let that happen again. As we do see a lot of forward presence by Gale Force towards mini, a lot of people stacking towards outside. But it seems like Splyce is picking up on it just fine. Davey even from range with the Mac-10 able to find the frag there. And so yeah, just the quick mop-up that we expected. And Davey able to farm a little bit of extra cash with the Mac-10 on top of all that. So Splyce up 5-1, but Gale Force will be able to buy here. But it won't include an op. And to be honest, they'll be limited on utility as well. Yeah, it'll be basically M4 armor, and that's about it. Maybe a couple of nades, 1 kit, but yeah, this is going to make it hard to deal with any type of fast upper push, for example.
Utility is so important on this map, as it is for all CT-sided maps. Splyce, they are going to be up against very little from Gale Force, but again, if Gale Force can get it done, they can really reap the benefits of the reward. They can take themselves a couple of AKs and maybe that AWP to play with, but it's Davey outside caught in the flash. He was fully blinded, spraying away, but it's going to be Gushoro taking him down. So now Gale Force actually sitting pretty for the time being. But it's only a Mac-10 dropped, although that will certainly make up for it. A bomb as well. A kill from Tommy. Tootin's even going to fall back. He doesn't want to take the fight around, knowing that Splyce still have a couple of players alive to do damage and pull this back to the man advantage. It's not going to be looking good, though, for this T side. Ro8 tagged up. Mitch has got the AWP, but that's all they've got to play with.
Yeah, Splyce have been shut down on all fronts here. Davey gets caught outside. Their first player, Ramp, gets caught. They got caught at Squeaky Door as well by a top Hut player. So all the odds have really stacked against him, and it continues to pile on as Mitch is left all alone. He's getting pushed at Squeaky Door. Does catch on to it, but not able to really respond. And so Gale Force to get a second round on the board. And I think there was like a gap in the smoke or something that was on accident from Splyce. I think someone missed the smoke, and that's part of the way Davey got caught. He was supposed to have basically a free route into secret, but was able to get picked off there outside, and that kind of led to a spiral downward. But we'll see, because Gale Force could get reset again, and that would be bad news.
Yeah, really bad news. Every time they seem to get themselves in a good position, they always seem to somehow fall apart. This time may be different though. Tommy's kicked it off. A quick kill, shutting down Davey, attempting to go for the far squeaky push. In the previous round, he was caught outside. So maybe Davey going in a bit early in comparison to the rest of his team. We've got to see if the rest of Splyce can make up for that early death. Either way, they'll slow things down themselves after that pick. They haven't got anything really to play with, and they need to find one to Gale Force. They can't commit to a fight, or at least an execute, until they've at least taken down one of these defenders. Because the 5-4 retake is going to be so difficult. But Ro8, nice cleanup on ramp. Good shot onto Johnny Boy, and it's made it back into a 4-on-4 at the very least. B site now looking ripe for the taking.
Oh, and Civis catches Gusharo kind of out in awkward space, and now Splyce have a man advantage, and they have Civis with outside control. They have ramp room control as well, so they have a lot to kind of leverage in this round as far as what's going to be favoring them. It's going to have to take someone from Gale Force making a play to change things, and it's not going to happen as Marky also gets struck down. It's going to be up to Tootin to try to see if he can't flank outside from Secret. That could be the way to even this back up, and he does get a kill. So to Tommy with 2, actually, and at least Ro8 in a 1 versus 2 situation. He does get 1. He knows where the other is as well, but he can't win the duel. Tootin on that flank from Secret. And what another roller coaster ride of a round. It looked like Splyce were, you know, firmly the front runners, and then somehow Tootin and Tommy able to bring it right back.
Yeah, in fact, the complete opposite of what we've been seeing. We've been seeing Splyce in awkward positions, but still managed to pull themselves out a round. And now we see Gale Force, you know, 2 men down, still able to pull it back. So, nice round from them. Keeps the money in it for the time being. But Splyce, look at the confidence on these guys. Again, they're 5 rounds up on T side. They can afford to do this. And they're going to go for the buy once more. No AWP. But Tempest, again, it's quick towards Squeaky. You think that this is going to be expected the amount of times they've already done it? And it will be. There's 3 players up on the A site, so kills heavily favouring them. I really question a quick A push like this when you've done at least something similar the last 3 or 4 rounds in a row. They've always sent one player quickly into the A site, and
yeah, you can't,
as always, it's shut down.
You can't really get away with that when CTs have utility. Like, sure, if you know you have the CT's money low and they can't afford incendiaries or smokes or what have you to block door and hut, calling for a fast upper play is actually really good because there's just nothing to stop you, and it just comes to a trading game at that point. And typically you're going to have a man advantage, right? Because everyone's able to pour out pretty quickly with no utility to stop them. But in a round like that, where there's plenty of money for Gale Force, yeah, I mean, you're just running to incendiary at Squeaky. That means you're taking damage as you're coming out. It's just a lot harder to make that work. But they do actually beat the incendiary to get into ramp room here in this round. Splyce are going to use it to pour down in the lower.
They were swapping guns over in spawn. Tootin didn't have a rifle at the beginning, and it actually came back to hurt them because Splyce went fast. If that didn't happen, he would have been able to stop this bomb plant. And now things are up in the air. Splyce are doing damage, and they've got a plant in their hands. They may not have men up or rifles to play with, but they're at least going to be able to get the money from the plant, and maybe more, maybe some damage. As Semper has to do exactly that. It's Johnny Boy dropping into his face with a kill, and now Splyce, it looked good. It's starting to look questionable. It's only Davey. He may be able to catch one on the bomb, but they know exactly where he is, or at least they think. He sits in the door, opens it up, but nothing comes through. It's only damage for Splyce. Still, bomb plant, not too bad of a round.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they didn't really have too much invested into that. They've lost the last 4 rounds in a row, and they get a bomb plant, so they have plenty of cash here. They have it at 5-5 on a map that can sometimes be quite CT-sided. To be doing this well on the T side, certainly going to bode well for them. They still have a chance to strike a couple of more rounds on the board as well. Full AKs, full utility. Kind of curious if they'll start slowing things down now. I mean, again, Nuke is one of those maps that on T side is prided on outside control, like smoke wall, getting a lot of numbers out there, similar to mid control on other maps. So I'm curious if that's what Splyce is thinking out. They have a lot of smokes, and there is that smoke wall coming out. In fact,
we're going to play off the back of it, though. They're not actually going to be able to get crossed. There's a gap in the smoke, and they lose a player because of it. In fact, 2. Johnny Boy catches with the AWP, so Splyce, a massive error in their setup there. Again, this is their map pick. This is one they should be at least confident with the smokes on, but it's going to come back to haunt them, and Semphis even gets tagged as well. As he looks to aggress, he goes past the nade somehow. He'll get that face of Johnny Boy, but he won't get any damage off Johnny Boy. Dodging and diving, ducking and weaving, he finds himself 4 kills. And Gale Force find themselves 6 rounds.
yeah, that was pretty critical to have a gap in the smoke like that. Again, like Nuke T side, the bread and butter of that is being able to use that smoke wall outside to get control, get into secret, cause CTs to have to rotate, you know, put pressure on your opponent. And instead, it's basically just free frags for Johnny Boy's out because there's just a gap there. So definitely a huge error, a small detail that has a substantial impact. And now another round goes to Gale Force. They've actually won the last 5 in a row, so they're starting to really get their groove going here. And now some aggressive outside play gets them their first kill this round.
And still Goshoro is aggressive as ever, sits towards the red box. The smokes are down, but they don't know he's here. And he'll line up 2 kills. One of them's from Roka, but he still finds a second with a bomb drop deep as well. He can call in for support. There are so many men up, but still trades are coming through. Drone and Davey land a kill each. The bomb retrieved as well, so Splyce, they can renegotiate this round and fall back down into B, but with the smoke starting to fade, Drone, he's stuck in no man's land. He's getting flanked, and he's also not crossed outside. So while Davey may be able to get himself down to B, Drone can't do the same, because he'll have to cross in front of Johnny Boy, and we've already seen in the previous round what that AWP can do. Instead, they have to hold, wait for the flank to come into fruition, wait for a player to get aggressive, try and grab a pick, but nothing's being gifted to them. Yes, they have time on the clock, but that's slowly diminishing. Davey could come back up and use his smoke to allow Drone to cross, or Drone could come into a different avenue, and that's what it looks like to be a
Oh, this flank from Marky, though. Oh. That could be the checkmate here, as he's going to be up top on Silo. He does get the kill on the drone. Leaves Davey in a 1 versus 3. He does have a little bit of time. He does have, you know, pretty good HP. Got a smoke and a molly. He could maybe, you know, plant inside a smoke or something gimmicky like that, but winning this round seems like it should be out the question unless he hits some incredible shots.
Well, smoke out through the vent, trying to bait a player in, but All he's done is delay his push in. He thinks it's a player dropping. It's actually going to be the remnants of the vent. Now he has to go for the bomb plot. Now he has to commit to it because they're going to know it as well. They're going to be able to drop down confidently. With 10 seconds, you would not fake in that position. So David in a 1v3, it's nothing. Marky finds it with only 8 points of health, and Gale Force up another round. This one looking a hell of a lot better than Cash. But could it just be due to the CT-sided nature of Nuke?
It could be. It could also just be due to a little bit of sloppiness on Splyce's end. I mean, again, they've messed up the smoke wall outside a couple of times, and it basically lost them around with the Johnny Boys op a couple of rounds ago, and even hurt them on more of a default, like early in the half, losing, like, I think it was Davey who was out there on his own. It was a free kill for Gale Force that round as well. So just again, and then again, that fast upper push was questionable. And they tried to fast push Squeaky against a fully decked out Gale Force who had plenty of incendiaries to stop that from working. So yeah, just a couple of little mishaps here from Splyce, I think.
Let's see if they can make up for it in this one. They've got rifles behind them with utility thanks to the bomb plant, so it did go a long way. Without that, they certainly wouldn't be going for this fire, or at least not as well as they have. Tommy opening things up. It's a fast wrap from Davey, and he'll be able to get it from the outside. He's wrapped in. It's all onto Roka now on site. 2 quick kills. What's happened? Roka's on 3, and with a bomb down in the open, he can retrieve it. But Tootin coming in from the back lines hasn't been seen this round, so he might catch Roka off guard. It all depends where he moves, and he's wrapping outside. This is good. The only issue is now Roka has to be aware of every position. Tootin could have gotten himself behind enemy lines, and he certainly has on the A site. He spots a barrel of the gun as well. Roka walks out, and he'll walk to his death. Nice attempt from Roka, but it's not enough.
It's just a matter of timing there. Tootin just getting in the sight while Roka's trying to clear out some other angles. Doesn't realize that Tootin's kind of slipped right through. And so the round does go to Gale Force. Again, a little bit of sloppiness out of Splyce trying to come out a door with just one pop flash. I mean, Syphis dies for free just throwing it. And then the flash has 0 impact, and there's still a guy on top hut and a guy mini with the crossfire on you, and you're still trying to force through door. Like, it just seems a little bit stubborn. I mean, they've lost a couple of rounds off of trying to force their way through door and just having no luck with it whatsoever. And now they're on to a low buy in this round, trying to save for last.
Very early pushes that have not gone their way, but then maybe this one will. Tootin forced down ramp. This time he doesn't commit with the angle, knowing there are 5 players potentially pushing. And even Johnny Boy backing off. He can catch a cross if they try and make their way up towards hell, but instead it is B. And Tootin's got a lot on his plate, but he's hungry. 2 kills. One of them from Tommy, though, so he's only done a little bit of damage. And Davey, he'll be able to trade. So Splyce have got themselves in the sight at the very least, but maybe get no more. Tommy goes down, and that's a kill that should not have been found from Splyce. It's allowed them a bomb plant, but not much else, as they're left to 2 players trying to defend the spot. Marky baiting, trying to draw out the fight, but Mitch is going to be the man from Vents to rain down death. Again, the bait on the bomb. Sellers has to go for the spray here just to check in case they're committing. And it's Mitch once again coming in from the back lines. 3 kills to him right now. He may make it 4. Marky can't connect the shots. He's pincered. And Splyce, they'll do it. Pistols and armor is all they need. And even though they almost kill their teammate at the end of the round, they'll find themselves on the board again.
Yeah, so just CZ armor, Splyce again being able to get that fast ramp room control, being able to get down lower so rapidly. They got a couple of key kills to get some rifles in a few of their hands, particularly Mitch with the M4 and Toxic, or Contamination, I think it's called now. Yeah, just kind of getting around a little bit earlier than maybe people expected. I mean, they were really trying to get things going for this round. This was the key round that they were trying to, you know, save up for. Now they have 6 as they go into the last round of this half, and they have a nice full buy here. Gale Force does as well, though it's a bit limited. Johnny Boy just a FAMAS. And again, looks like Splyce are maybe looking to fight for some early ramp room control. And they catch Tootin with a nade in his hand, trying to switch back to his M4. Catch a perfect timing on him. And Marky, hello? He thought he had the kill already, turned around and almost cost him.
The mystery of the double head thing, where the head model shifts after you get 1 tap on it, so you commit to the spray and it will always miss. It's an issue. But doesn't seem to have gone too much for Gale Force at least. They've gone down to 1 player. It's a 1v3 right now. As now we just have to see Splyce hold down this bomb plant. Shouldn't be too much of a task. Tommy trying to worm his way back in. This is there. There's a free kill. There's a second as well. Nice jump from Tommy. It's a 1v1 now. Roka can't stop the bomb plant from this position. He can just jump right on the defuse. No kit to play with. That's the issue. Time is of the essence, and he'll get naded. Trying to draw out Roka into the open. Going for the knife, and Roka, he can't connect it. Tommy finds a kill, but does he have time? I don't know if he does. It's going to come down close. Oh.
I think he might have it.
Oh my god, if he does.
No. By like a second, basically.
They get it. 7 rounds up here for the North American side, and that will be it. It's going to be 7 rounds and a half, so not a bad T-side at all, but we'll be seeing how their CT goes after the break.
My name is Trick2G, and I use CyberPowerPC powered by Intel. Let's go!
Welcome back. Second half will be upon us in just a second. Splyce. They take a strong T-side dust. Do you think this is going to Inferno? Because I certainly do. Even with Splyce's a strong T-side start.
I think Splyce could finish this off in the second half. I mean, I think 7 from their T-side's pretty solid. I will say, though, not a bad recovery from Gale Force. I mean, I think they were down 5-1 or something like that at the beginning. Like, Gale Force was off to a really slow start. But they got their act together, and they wound up winning, what was it, like...
6 in a row.
6 in a row? 7 in a row, actually.
Oh, yes, you're right.
So
I'm mistaken.
They definitely were able to at least get a little bit of something going there. Splyce did cap off the last 2 rounds of the half, though, to stop it from being, like, too one-sided from Gale Force. It could have easily been 10-5. And this pistol round will certainly kind of see who's going to have that momentum in the second half as the score is as tight as it gets.
Postal and Squeaky from Market to start things off, but it's a quick play towards ramp and kills being exchanged tenfold. Suddenly, it's all into Semphis. I don't even know what's happened. He's getting shot from the back as well, but he chases the frag, tries to take the one-on-one. He will, and Marky dead. It's now leaves Tootin with the ability to plant the bomb, but he's up in the heaven at least. He'll wrap back down as Semphis draws himself towards B. Tootin goes to that plant. Semphis will hear it, but he actually thinks it's down on the site. He doesn't realize it's up on A, so he has to jump back up the ladder and go for the fight. Tootin catches it, but Semphis, he still hits the shot. How on earth does he land it? We'll be able to pick Splyce up the round, and they're up to 8. What a ridiculous one.
What is...
Is he looking
Hello?
for a kit? He's looking for a kit.
I guess he's going for the kit and the CZ.
And
okay.
CZ, yeah. I mean, he has time for it.
Yeah. I going for the kit didn't make that. Oh yeah, I mean it's still money. It's still money saved. So yeah, good job.
Could go a long way.
Good communication there to go get the kit, go get the CZ, bring that over to the next round. Has armor as well, so really well done by Semphis. I mean that round was almost over in a blink of an eye, right? Just to push ramp, push door, crazy amounts of frags going both sides. Quickly leads into a 1-on-2 for Semphis. And somehow he gets the job done. I especially thought he was in a lot of trouble in that 1v1 because, I mean, you're coming up the vent. You're kind of awkward. Yeah. You can't really get your crosshair placed. You can't even really shoot accurately until you, like, firmly get your feet on the ground. Really gives the advantage to the T who's peeking vent. But somehow he still pulls off the one-tap, and it's tied up now.
Is indeed. Getting back towards outside. Gale Force with Deagles in their hands. Mitch will start things off. So Scout going to land into the dome of Tommy, and they're looking to trade, but already the one Deagle dead, and so is the P250. Nice shots from Mitch. How is he hitting these? Great accuracy with the Scout. You don't even.
Well, I think he just kind of puts his crosshair on their head and then left clicks. It's usually how it's done.
Why aren't you a professional player? You're insane. You have the theory all behind it. Damn.
Good response. Hugo ain't taking no shit today. Dishes it right back. As Splyce is also dishing another round victory out here, as it looks like they're going to clean this thing up. Gale Force has a couple of CZs in play, but with the first round bomb plant, the fact that they didn't get any armor in this round, they should definitely be buying AKs in the next, which is why you saw Splyce go so rifle heavy and not really getting the SMGs in this round. So, get a little bit of early gun action.
Indeed, we do. Tootin coming back out towards the ramp, unable to connect, but he's being flanked, and that's enough. Semphis can out-CZ him at his own game, so 3 kills for him and 9 rounds of Splyce. This second half start is certainly what they needed, all off the back of Sempis. This man has been playing lights out today. We've seen some questionable pushes, if we look back to Cash especially, but he's been getting on the better end of the majority of them, so I won't completely fault him. He is one of the reasons why we have Splyce in the lead in the second half, again, with his strong pistol round retake as well. So, now we look for this streak to continue for Splyce, or we look to be broken by Gale Force. His rifles are in their hands, but not a lot of utility. I'm going towards outside as well. They're going to need those smokes to the cross. They only have 2 in play.
I just see Tommy taking a little bit of point here with the AK, same with Gusharo. Drone playing outside, Mini though he has a player outside as well, so they have a bit of a crossfire going on here. Gale Force, like you said, no smoke wall, so they have to just kind of rely on being able to win aim duels.
Will they though? Not against Drone apparently. He gets the first kill, bomb drop, but he's hounded. As Tommy runs in from behind, he'll be able to get the frag in response, and oh, a nice one shot from Grishoro as well. As now Splyce a diminished of 3 players, and even with a scout in play, not the best buy by any means. Got a huge task ahead of them, and that allows them to get aggressive, especially with all these players being spotted outside. It draws players away from that lobby position. Only 1. Marky holds on, and while Ro8 is flanked, he won't be able to find it, or actually he will. He'll get chased onto the roof and chased down by Marky. As this A push comes in, Davey defends it. But now, with the players being spotted on A, we're going to see Splyce just have to deal with this B site, because Gale and Force have already rotated the bomb down. This should be the plan.
Yeah, low HP as well on Mitch and Roka. Retaking going to be so difficult when they just don't really have the health to work with here. But Tootin, he gets caught trying to drop in behind, so they actually get a man advantage going to this retake. But again, the low HP is going to be their biggest enemy here, and they just line up for Gusharo. Davey does get it back into a 1v1, though. Doesn't know where this last player is. It's going to be Tommy playing up top. Gonna make it very difficult on the Davey here. Doesn't have a smoke to cover himself. He just gotta try to stick it or get the kill quickly. He's sticking it. No one's peeking. Okay, Tommy does time it out. He's got that internal clock. He's just waiting for a couple of seconds to tick. And he steps out at just the right time. Ties this thing back up 9-all.
Tommy missed that first shot. I was getting slightly worried that he was just going to completely whiff it on the defusing player. But nice round either way from Gale Force. They finally get themselves back on the board to equal it up 9-9.
I think that was a mistake. Was that Drone that was playing Mini? When he got the first kill, I'm not sure why he didn't just keep his crosshair on outside. Like, it was so easy for him to get traded, just not holding that angle.
Maybe expecting a split without smokes going outside. You could have thought that maybe it's just that one lurk player. Like, it's very common. I mean, Drone is the player who lurks outside on this map and splits in through main when they go for the A commitment. So he could have expected that potentially. But yeah, no idea why. That's just an assumption.
Because he just had no cover as well as the thing. Like, they had no vision to watch if anyone was going to come and flank him Mini. So he was just like a really awkward spot that really hurt Splyce's positioning in that round all the way through. For
sure. That's it. Splyce will pay the full price of the back of that play, as now they're down to 9-9 without a great buy. 1 M4, 1 FAMAS, and a Scout is all we really see. Is again Gale Force back to outside. But Johnny Boy tagged up. Scout v Scout, he loses that duel, but it's going to be Gushoro who wins his. Sempis dead. So Gale Force a man up as they look to make their way down towards B again. Back to the classics. They keep Tootin on top of the main roof as well, so he can easily drop back into A and hopefully have a little more success in catching rotations, as is Marky. Gale Force running the exact same setup as they did in the previous round, except this time with a lot more success. They haven't had that awkward fight up in main where they lose a player in the meantime. They've lost health, but they've come out on top of these engagements. And Marky, he's just going to charge the A side.
Ooh.
Nice lineup for Davey. They try and go up in towards A instead of down into B, and while they will lose players, Drone's going to come quickly up the vents. That's so good, and he sprays as well. Roka will support him, taking down Marky in the hut. And again, Gale Force, they seem to be in a great position, but it falls apart. Splyce, they always seem to take the round no matter what.
Yeah, that was really good positioning, and it's a good thought to kind of put pressure on Mini, force one of the upper players to kind of focus on Mini. That allows Marky to kind of slip out hut undetected, but he just didn't get there fast enough. Davey already got 2 kills before Marky was there to get the trade. If he could have gotten there a little bit faster, limit Davey maybe to just 1 kill, maybe things could have gone differently, but really heads-up play from Davey to get those 2 kills. Well handled by Splyce across the board. They're up now around, and Gale Force are onto a low buy. They have been reset, and if they lose this, they'd have to full save probably. So this is where Splyce could get up 12-9 if they play their cards right. Mitch already has a couple of kills.
Again, Sempis with a very wide peak with no support nor flashbang. This is Crazy to see how he's still doing this, but for some reason it's working. They have lost players in the meantime. Splyce don't seem to be able to get a clean round, but they may get the round after all. Marky, he finds his way out of hut. Yes, he's snuck into the A site, but at what cost? He's lost his entire team and the bomb as well. No weapon to play with, he even gives away his position. That CZ is not going to hit at that kind of range. And with 2 players up in the heavens, good luck. He'll go down to Davey. Splyce find 11 on the CT side, and as you say, Dust 12 is looking all the more likely.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gale Force has no choice but to basically full save here. Maybe you get a P250 or 2, something like that, but there's not going to be any armor or utility. That's where Splyce should be able to push it to 12. Start getting their money in order. It's not like their money is looking the best either. They've had a couple of players have to buy down to really low money. Davey's going to get that auto shotgun. One of the maps where auto shotty actually can be very good, especially if you're playing top hut, you're playing up close on hut or door. Also, obviously, it has an even larger money bonus than an SMG. So definitely a good way to build cash. He's already found 1 and a second as he's pushing through.
Why not? Why not? It damn works. 3 kills with the shotgun. That's a big buck. That's 2,700 in the bank. Not bad at all. And not only does it outpay the gun, but also, you know, you make a little bit of profit on the side. Bit of hustle for Davey, and he'll be able to go for the M4 into this buy round, as now Gale Force have rifles to play with. AKs are up, utility is good as well. Not the best, but it's better than usual. This is their chance, Dustin. If Gale Force loses this round, this could be the map. Because Splyce will get 13, will have an Antico to 14, and then, you know, they're up against the wall again with another buy.
Yeah, they don't really have too many more chances to pull this one through, and obviously they did lose the first map in huge fashion on their pick of cash, so they need this to get to a 3rd map.
Yeah.
As they're trying to force their way through outside, but Splyce playing very forward on red, able to get the opening kill with Synthis. It has left ramp room, though, wide open, and Gale Force will take that. But they have lost a man, so they're playing at a disadvantage.
Well, still, Splyce can afford to give up that ramp control, as they can appropriately rotate these outside players down onto B, and that they'll do, but maybe a bit too late. 1 player's down there, that's Drone, he's got to be very careful. Actually, Semphis joining him as well. Doors open, they're looking to take fights, but Gale Force is just playing with the door. Grishoro is not going to let them pass. It's actually going to be Semphis closing the door on himself as well, and the smoke goes down just to seal their fate. Still Splyce are in a 5-on-4 though, and still they come in for the retake. With not much utility left on this T side, aim fights is what they need. And Johnny Boy starts it off. 2 quick kills, CZ out for Mitch, and it trades. But a reload needed, he runs to his death in the base. And Gale Force, they just mow down the round. Where on earth did that come from?
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's jumping into vents when he hasn't completed the reload yet. You're basically a guy with your pants down. You can't even shoot if someone's in there with you, so... Maybe a little bit of a mishap. Yeah, hoping it was clear, I guess, being a bit optimistic about it. But the fact that Splyce got an early man advantage was great, but they weren't able to pressure lower very well. Like, they weren't able to leverage that man advantage. You know, retaking lower can still be very difficult. A lot of tight choke points, not a lot of ways in. As long as you can kind of, like, maintain control of back halls, it's going to be bad news for the CT team trying to retake, and that's what Gale Force is able to do.
Yeah, and they've kept themselves in this map as well. That's so important. Kept themselves in this series. This could have been a dangerous scoreline if they had lost that previous round, but now they have another opportunity. Again, if they find 11, certainly going to be close to shutting down Splyce's money. So if Splyce don't force, which wouldn't make sense off the back of 2 losses in a row, they should be down to pistols. So Gale Force could easily make this 12 now. Certainly doable. As they look back towards ramp, it's going to be Gushoro, but there's
also a boost on ramp as well this round, just to kind of point that out. So they're getting distracted by this Turnpike player, and there's a player just up top. So if they do decide to commit heavy presence towards ramp room, and they're not paying attention, this boosted player, Roka, could really cause a lot of problems for them.
Ooh.
And it looked like Gusharo was actually trying to check it.
Yeah. But he was trying to check it, but he spotted nothing, so Roka may actually go bypass that. If they hit ramp later in the round, they might not check this off the back of now thinking it's clear. We'll see. As Gushoro looks to go back towards ramp, Roka's still here. He's playing so slow that he's just trying to catch a rotation. With no one showing himself on ramp, it makes it even more clear there's someone up here, but no, he doesn't check it twice, and Roka finds a kill. So while Gale Force have B, again, it's a similar situation to the last round, man advantage. The only issue is here for Gale Force is they haven't brought the bomb out, and Roka's still got ramp control, so they can't bring it down towards B yet. 20 seconds, all Roka needs is a frag, but instead they realize this is unrealistic and they back off towards A. Tommy can jump up the vents, but Semphis is here to play, and so is Davey. They're going to be ready to shut down. Push on in, Mark, great headshot in the opener, and Semphis, he can't line them up for frags. It's somehow Gale Force with the bomb down with 5 seconds left. It's a retake for Splyce, and I don't know if they can even do this one. It's a tough task. I'll try. Flashing through heaven. Roka's going to be in first. He's got to make the play, but he's already dead. Doesn't check below him for some reason. And Mitch with that's just going to save. Not even going to try and lose this AWP. That's Gale Force forcing Splyce to eco, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be a potential 12-12 for the T's side.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with Roka and Mitch's kills, they actually had, I think, a 4-on-3. But it's just the entries on upper were so clean from Gale Force in response. You know, Davey wasn't able to get anything, you know, from his default position inside the site. They had a player as well playing Vent, not able to find anything himself. Just those 2 kills is what won the round for Gale Force. Mitch will be able to save the AWP, but they don't really have a whole lot of money to buy around it, to be honest. They could, though. I mean, knowing Splyce, they definitely could be forcing CZ armor, UMP armor around this AWP, which is understandable. You know, you want to try to use the one thing you have and build around it and see if you can't make it work.
The positive of this is they're still in reset potential, right? They can still reset Gale Force because they've only found 2 in a row. The negative is they've got enough loss bonus. They could have just ecoed this one and pulled up next. This is going to be dangerous in the long run. But maybe with plays like that, maybe with Gale Force underestimating the buy, it could work out, although it swung back into the favour of the T side only for a second. Roka quicking through the heaven, 1 shot off, and he needs 1 more. He'll land it. Looks for a 3rd as well. There's only Gushara on the site, and he's looking for the headshot, but there's nothing showing itself. Mitch peeks out wide, but it doesn't matter. Roka's there. And Splyce, what a round to win.
Yeah, really well done. Able to just get in the faces with the CZ. Great work from Roka with the Deagle. Saves the day. As you noted, he's able to, you know, get Gale Force into a tough economic position now. They make that force work. It could have been bad news if it didn't. Again, a risky play, but the call works out. And now Gale Force are forcing up what they can in response. It includes 2 pistols and a Gale, though. So, and they have like basically no utility. So this could get really scary for them, as they have to basically force by the rest of this half now, because the Splyce is just so close to series point. They're just going to have to keep forcing. Yeah,
and it's that big hole you dig yourself into, and Mitch is digging deeper. Another kill coming out from Drone as well. As he shoots down from lower, he can't even get traded. Tootin doesn't hit the shot. These are massive mistakes being made, and even Marky can't find Davey on top of the hut. What is going on? Splyce win every gunfight, and Davey's even shooting into the body of Marky. No screen watching today. Tootin's alone. And he's got a 1v5 to deal with. There's the first, but maybe 4 more is too much to ask. He has the bomb saved. Davies on the cross, and Splyce got 14 rounds up. This is looking like a map potentially going the way of this CT
yep,
side.
It certainly does look that way. Again, because Gale Force are now forced just to keep forcing. They don't have a choice. You know, the Splyce is going for series point here. You don't want to give them 15 for free, so you need to kind of buy up. I think that was a bad play from Gale Force last round. I think they should have saved. Because if you know that you're going to the next round and Gale Force is going for 15, you need to make sure this is the round where you have all your guns and utility and armor, right? Now they have to save and have to play for the tie. That's ridiculous. I mean, I get why, though. Like, they think they could reset Splyce, and then they would be able to win a couple of rounds in a row off of that, if that force would have worked out. But it's like you're just chasing the dangling carrot at that point, I feel like.
It's the risk reward, and it does not play out in their favor. Much looking like this eco as well. This is a loadout. Splyce not missing a shot and not missing a tick. It's only 1 death, and that's on Mitch. It's Splyce to 15. Roka.
They have to be happy about this. Yeah, Gale Force has been like their nemesis in a couple of qualifiers they've played in, you know, in the last couple of months. And they've gotten blasted by Gale Force in those 2 best of ones, by the way. So getting a little bit of revenge against the majority Argentina team probably feels a little bit good for Splyce. They've had a tough time this year themselves. Some roster changes. Didn't do so well in EPL. Didn't make it into ECS. Haven't really qualified for any notable LAN events. So to be able to get a victory in this tournament would be good news for them.
Splyce are heading to ROG Masters at the very least.
Yeah, that's true.
Heading to the semi-finals, it seems, because look at this mowdown. Again, all in the favor of Splyce. Again, Gale Force losing every single gunfight, but Gushara pulls it back, at least for a short amount of time before he's dropped by Mitch, and Johnny Boy takes back on up, only to his death. Roka cleans it. So that's it. Splyce, they take it in dominant fashion as well. It's 16-11. Davey putting up a lot of kills. Roka, top of the board as well. Same as last map, great performance. This time, at least Gale Force put up a fight, but it's not enough.
Yeah, kind of a similar storyline where, particularly in the second half, Gale Force getting reset a couple of times, kind of deja vu from Cash first half, where they were able to get their money going on the terrorist side. Couldn't really find anything that consistently worked. even in the first half, it just felt like Splyce just got too many rounds. Like, they had the great start 5-1. Gale Force did make a good recovery, winning 7 rounds in a row. That was brilliant. But then you did let Splyce kind of steal away a couple of rounds there in the end. So if they could have 10-5 that half, you know, maybe they could have grinded out from that point forward. But I think they let Splyce get a little bit too much on their T side. And again, it's just another situation where, you know, Splyce were typically able to outfrag Gale Force. This map was a lot better, though. There's not as much of a disparity between, you know, KDA and ADR and things of that nature. But nonetheless, it is Splyce getting a little bit of revenge on Gale Force, I think you can say. I mean, again, we know that Gale Force has had their number in a couple of online qualifiers, but this time it is Splyce who reigns supreme, and they'll be moving on to the semifinals of this tournament.
Yeah, that's a great win for them to start the day off, and they're going to be, of course, facing the winners of CLG, or the unemployed guys now, versus GX, of course, the, you know, well, I was about to say core of iBuyPower, but not anymore, with Daze leaving that team and Whitmer joining to play both the AWP and the IGL role that Daze was playing. So that'll be an interesting team to keep your eyes out on as well, and that'll be coming up obviously tomorrow. Next, instead, we've got Cloud9 versus Talked, and that'll be brought to you by Bok and Seaside. But that's in just a minute. Before you go, guys, make sure to check out the giveaways below. Of course, we're running some nice swag giveaways. We've got some jerseys, we've got some computer gear as well, some SSDs. So head over to cyberpowerpc.co.com/giveaway, or make your predictions to predict matches of this event and win cool prizes off the back of that as well. It's cyberpowerpc.co.com/predictions. Links are all down below the Twitch channel. Either way, I think that's it from Dust and I for the first day, or at least me for the first day. You've got more coming up later.
Yep, I think we do have a bit of an extended break coming up here. This best of 3 obviously went pretty quick, and we had to kind of schedule a tournament based on, you know, knowing that it could go 3 maps, right? You got to make sure you have enough time. So I think we are going to have a break for about like 45 minutes to an hour before Cloud9 Tort's going to start. And again, that will be brought to you by Bok and Seaside. I'll be back a little bit later to do the last game of the night, which I think is going to be Ghost and Store. So I'll be back for that personally. But yeah, Hugo will be back tomorrow for the semifinals with me. Again, huge shout out to all of our sponsors, Best Buy, Intel, Western Digital, NVIDIA, and MSI. Appreciate the support. Throwing a pretty cool tournament. Again, $25,000 on the line for a weekend tournament. Not too shabby. And again, we'll pick back up with the next quarterfinal in about an hour with Cloud9 versus Torque. So we'll see you then.